Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Brianna. I am a certified personal trainer, a big huge biology nerd, and a registered dietitian to be. Today, we're gonna get weird. So today we're gonna revisit with our favorite holistic counselor, self-proclaimed, and she is going to educate us on how she can look at someone's tongue and tell that they are suffering from conditions such as asthma, and also she's gonna teach us how men can nourish their bodies and minds and souls with their semen. Forget food or a multivitamin, guys. You have everything you need right there in your testicles. Before we proceed, if you love science-based health, wellness, and fitness education with some lulls along the way, please do some naughty things with that subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. All right, without anything further, let's get into the video. Okay, so this first video is gonna be a short one. It's less than a minute long. It's just about 45 seconds. Our holistic counselor is going to show us how you read someone's tongue to determine what health issues they are dealing with. Let's get into it.
How to read someone's tongue to tell what type of health issues they're dealing with. A pale white tongue like this means there's issues with the digestive system. The upper middle part of the tongue right here is related to the intestines. Do you see that white film on the upper part of the tongue? That means that there's an overgrowth of Candida yeast in the intestines.
So that's actually true from my knowledge and education. You can get a white filmy white film over the top of your tongue, and it can be an overgrowth of Candida, which is a type of yeast. Candida is actually the kind of yeast, I'm pretty sure. If I'm wrong, I'll put it somewhere on the screen inside my source. Candida is a type of yeast that when a woman has a yeast infection, that's the kind of yeast that's having a party down there, you know, below the border.
In my part 1 video, a lot of people talked about scraping the tongue to remove the yeast Candida from the tongue, but that doesn't deal with the underlying issues, which is overgrowth of yeast in the colon.
I don't know how she can know for sure that that's the underlying issue. Maybe that is one of the underlying issues, but I don't know how she can definitively be like, the underlying issue is you have too much yeast in your colon. Yeast is not just because you have too much in your colon, it can have an external cause too.
Around the edges of the tongue is related to the lungs. You see that little froth around the edges? This person mostly suffers from asthma or bronchitis or some type of respiratory illness.
Edges of the tongue is frothy. I don't know what she means by that. Asthmatics watching this, or people with bronchitis watching this. Stick your tongue out. Does your tongue have frothy edges? I have no idea what that even means. Whenever I hear frothy tongue, I think of like a rabid animal frothing at the mouth. If there are any healthcare professionals watching this, is it customary for asthmatics and those suffering with bronchitis or upper respiratory conditions to be foaming at the mouth? Drop a comment and let us know. This is not something that I had ever remember learning about in school, you know, at any point ever in my education, as in my biology education, my nutrition education. I have not heard that anywhere. So I tried to fact check it and I couldn't find anything about the edges of the tongue being related to the lungs. However, let me backtrack. I couldn't find anything legit. I was looking for a controlled study. I was looking for maybe an article written by a healthcare professional somewhere, maybe a page on a web page on a .org or a .edu website, something like that, but I could not find anything. I did, however, find this tongue reflexology chart. And based on this chart, it does look like the outer edges of the tongue are, you know, I guess connected to the lungs. I have heard of reflexology before for your feet, but I've never heard of tongue reflexology. But looking at this chart, based on some of what she's saying, I can tell where she's getting that, like the tongue is connected to your lungs. I don't want to use this video, or any of my videos really, to bash all over holistic healthcare. I've used a chiropractor before and it's helped me with back pain that I used to have. My husband and I, when not in pandemic, regularly get therapeutic massages every month. So I feel like for all of us in some capacity, we use a degree of holistic healthcare in our own self-care and healthcare routines. In general, holistic medicine really doesn't have a whole lot of scientific evidence to support it. However, there are millions of people worldwide who swear by it, and who are we to tell them that they're wrong? That being said, I think that there is a time and place for it. I have not seen or heard any scientific evidence or research that suggests that frothiness around the edges of the tongue means that you have bronchitis, asthma, or an upper respiratory condition. And I think that this woman is awfully bold to be confidently telling people that that is definitively what it means.
Cracks down the middle of the tongue like this. Cracks are in the intestine, meaning the intestine is dehydrated, and then the person is also dealing with poor immunity from lack of adequate nutrients in the diet.
I actually do happen to know that a crack down the center of your tongue is called a fissure. According to the American Academy of Oral Medicine, not a whole lot of people have tongue fissures, and for the most part, the cause is unknown, and tongue fissures are actually harmless and typically don't have any symptoms. No treatments necessary except for just good oral hygiene and brushing the tongue, which I hope you're doing anyway. I have absolutely no idea where she's getting that, and a fissured tongue means that you have a dehydrated intestine and poor immunity. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. How the f can only your intestine be dehydrated? Your stomach's not like, hey, can you redirect some of that H2O over here? It's drier than the damn Sahara. Meanwhile, your heart, lungs, and your brain are totally fine. Dehydration is pretty universal throughout your entire body. Now, a little bit to support maybe some of what she's saying here, I have recently learned, and I mean recently, like in the last month, in my applied nutrition class, that glossitis can be an indication of a B12 or an iron deficiency. In medical terminology, broken down, gloss means tongue and itis means inflammation. So glossitis means inflammation of the tongue. So that being said, that's just based on a physical assessment and looking at somebody. So glossitis may mean that the person has a B12 or iron deficiency, but the only way to really be certain is through blood work. Now, I don't mean to pass any judgment, but I don't want this woman sticking any needles in me. Let's look at the next video, because the next one is really just a lot more fun. Okay, so for this video, I don't know if I have to give some kind of disclaimer. I don't plan on showing anything that will make this video like overtly inappropriate, but we are going to be using some words and saying some things that pertain to the male anatomy. So I guess viewer/listener discretion is advised. Hopefully we can all be adults about this, and if any of you feel that you can't stifle your laughter or your snickering, maybe it's best you step out of the room and take some time to take a few deep breaths before you rejoin the rest of the class. Let's proceed.
Hi family, it's your holistic counselor Risho Shun, making another very important video, and this time I want to talk about how we can use semen retention, okay, and the holdback method for women to actually nourish our bodies, our organs, organ systems, and more importantly our brain and pineal gland, which is our connection to divinity. Okay, the pineal gland is believed to be our master gland in a lot of African cultures. It is talked about to be our Christ consciousness and our connection to our soul, right, and our superpowers. So
the pineal gland is a gland that is deep within your brain, and it secretes melatonin. Most of you probably already know this, that melatonin basically just helps to manage your sleep-wake cycle, aka your circadian rhythm. Your pineal gland does not give you superpowers, and if it does, I hope you use those powers for good and not evil.
Use our most sacred ritual, which is sex, to actually nourish our body. What do you mean? So first I want to talk about how we are currently living in a hypersexual culture, right? Everything is about sex, right? Everything is about getting to the orgasm. We're sexualizing women, we sexualize children, men, all of the above. So that hypersexual culture is causing us to see a decline in our function of our sex organs, because when we engage in sexual activity, we're just going for the orgasm, right? We're just trying to get a nut. And essentially. So with that type of mentality, that causes a deterioration of the sex organs, all right? We're overstimulating it. A lot of women are seeing the decline in the sexual function, their libido.
We're gonna pause right there. So let's say that I am someone who partakes in self-exploration more often than most people. Let's say I am an adolescent boy who just watched Jennifer Lopez's halftime show. Ever since I saw that, I just can't get it out of my head. And every time the mood strikes, I gotta take care of these urges right away. According to her science, the more I am partaking in self-exploration, the more my sex organs are deteriorating. Because for some people, that might mean that their genitals are just gonna disappear one day.
And which is the muscle, because we're overusing it, okay? We're seeing that the muscle is getting bigger, just like your body gets bigger when you work out. So when we learn that, you know, the hypersexual culture and how it affects us negatively, we can talk about the positive ways that we can use sex through the sex holdback method, often called semen retention for men, and often called sexual regeneration for women. So the idea is before you climax, and at the moment of climax, you hold back, right? You stop the sexual activity. Men do not release ejaculation, because when you ejaculate, It contains a lot of proteins, minerals, okay, fats as well. And that's why the man feels tired when he ejaculates. So we want to hold those nutrients in. And what happens is the semen goes back into the bladder and the semen gets absorbed to the bloodstream, circulating those minerals around the body, okay? A lot of African teaches you, as you come into that climax, stop the sexual activity, say an affirmation, say a prayer, and you want to imagine that sexual energy traveling from the base of your body, okay, all the way up to the crown of your head, nourishing your brain.
I feel like the last thing society needs right now is for people to have sexual energy coursing through their bodies.
Okay, that's visualizing manifestation. But the actual physical things is the semen will be absorbed through the bladder and it can be distributed to the body. I want us to know that you should try to do that about 9 times before you actually release. And yes, it's going to take you some time to work up to 9 times. But the idea is you want to do it at least 9 times and continue to nourish the body, all right, before you ejaculate. So peace, love, and light. Hopefully this video has helped somebody out today.
Let's talk about some things here. She mentioned that a lot of men are seeing issues with the prostate gland, which is a muscle, because it's getting overused through sex. I don't know about that. Are there any doctors in the house that can speak to sex causing issues for the prostate? I actually thought that it was the opposite. I have studied male reproduction, as you will come to learn in the next few minutes. So a lot of the stuff, I'm not like necessarily proud of this, is gonna come off the top of my head. But I've never learned that sex has a negative effect on the prostate. If there are any healthcare professionals out there who want to correct me, please drop a comment and let me know. Anyway, so she said the prostate gland is a muscle. It's not exclusively a muscle, it's actually made of muscular and glandular tissue. And the prostate pretty much just produces some of the fluid that comes out whenever a man ejaculates. So the method she is talking about in this video is she calls it semen retention, and I have never in my life heard of this. So I went to the internet because I couldn't find anything about it in my textbooks. And on brojo.org, I found their definition of semen retention, which is the avoidance of male ejaculation either through sexual abstinence or by practicing sexual intercourse without ejaculation. Importantly, semen retention does not refer to the avoidance of orgasm. In this practice, orgasm is separated from ejaculation, making it possible to enjoy the full pleasure of sexual intercourse, including orgasm, without experiencing seminal ejaculation. Semen retention is an ancient practice believed to maximize male physical and spiritual energy. Much of the history appears to be rooted in Taoist sexual practices. That last bit I found really interesting. I didn't know that this was a thing that had been practiced, that's been practiced by a lot of cultures throughout the world. It's not always called semen retention, it's usually called something different. I'm not going to go down a comprehensive list of alternate names for semen retention. You may use your imagination. So she said semen goes back into the bladder and it gets absorbed, all the nutrients and whatnot get absorbed into the body. So when your semen backtracks and goes back into the bladder, that's actually called retrograde ejaculation. According to myoclinic.org, retrograde ejaculation can be caused by things other than holistic counselors on Instagram. While retrograde ejaculation is not harmful, it can actually cause infertility. So I guess it is harmful if you are planning to have a few crotch goblins. If not, retrograde ejaculate away. So contrary to popular belief, seminal fluid is not just sperm. Sperm actually only makes up a small fraction of semen. The other components include fructose, prostatic fluids, seminal fluid, some proteins, citric acid, and some fatty acids, just to name a few things. So she's saying to let your semen go back into your bladder and cause essentially retrograde ejaculation, which we just learned can cause infertility. So inducing infertility in yourself seems pretty counterintuitive to the whole letting your semen reabsorb for vitality and your well-being. In addition, any semen that backtracks into your bladder, I'm fairly certain, is to be excreted upon your next urination. That just makes sense. Why wouldn't it be? Your urine doesn't get absorbed into your body. I don't think it does. So why would any semen in your bladder get absorbed? So what's the point of all this? She said we're doing this to absorb things like protein and other nutrients that are present in seminal fluid. You know what a good source of some of these nutrients are? Food. It seems like a lot of work to make yourself retrograde ejaculate 9 times when it's probably a lot less effort, I say probably because I don't know for sure, to just grill a piece of chicken breast and just eat a f***ing apple. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? This is stupid. Just eat food. As a bonus, I wanted to show it to Ace, my husband, to see his reaction, but I actually decided to not show him, and I have decided I wanted to show him on camera because I wanted his reaction to be genuine. So I'm about to show him, and you guys are gonna see him react to this video. He has never seen this video. His reaction is going to be 100% genuine. So I'm gonna go get him, and he's going to watch this video. So for those of you who don't know, this is my husband Ace, and he's going to now be watching this video.
Holistic counselor, making another very important video, and this time I want to talk about how we use semen retention, okay,
What?
for women to actually nourish our bodies, our organs, organ systems, and more importantly, our brain and pineal gland, which is our connection to divinity, okay?
I don't even think she can spell that.
Hey, be nice.
Man, this ain't Black Panther. What?
How we are currently living in a hypersexual culture, right? Everything is about sex, right? Everything is about getting to the orgasm, sexualizing women, sexualizing children, men. We're just going for the orgasm, right? We're just trying to get a nut in situ, right? That causes deterioration of the sex organ.
How does that even? What the hell am I watching?
Semen retention. You're about to learn how to do it.
So when we learn that, the hypersexual, the sex hormone method, often called semen, and often
I feel like she made up those words. Or like those sayings. Yes, that's why. That's why we feel tired, dog.
Imagine that sexual energy traveling from the base of your body and all the way up to the crown of your head, nourishing your brain.
What? How long is this? How long is this, man?
I think it's almost done.
Hold on. What are her credentials?
She's a holistic counselor on Instagram.
So none.
About 9 times before you actually release. And yes, it's gonna take you some time to work into 9 times.
9 times. 9 times. That's dope.
Your thoughts?
I'm gonna say wow. I'm gonna say wow because that is insane.
You want to try that?
No, I don't want to try that. That doesn't make any sense to me. Essentially, you're gonna get blue balls, right? Right? Okay.
That's what I thought. I didn't want to speak on that.
I think you would get blue balls.
Oh, you heard it here first. That's what I thought too.
If you do that over and over and over throughout the day, 9 times apparently.
That's a lot. That's
9 times. I don't think that's. Where do you find this?
Instagram, babe. Stop.
I don't get it. Like I'm trying to give it okay.
So I actually did learn for researching for this video that semen retention is a thing that is actually done across a lot of cultures around the world. And they believe that, now, some of what you're saying was true. Semen actually does have there's amino acids in semen, which is protein, fatty acids. There is, but
I have heard that.
It's not enough to be
to be beneficial?
Well, not even not beneficial. It's not enough to be why would you just eat a piece of chicken,
Yeah.
Just eat a piece of chicken if you want more protein, or eat an apple, eat some fruit, to get some nutrients.
I'd much rather eat a meal rather than
make yourself
masturbate 9 times a day and then not ejaculate 9 times a day. It don't make sense to me.
Yeah. It seems
as a man, it doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense to me either. As a woman, I've upset him. We've upset him.
This is what we're doing now. I believe she believes what she's spitting.
No, yeah, she does.
I believe she believes it.
I mean,
it is so wild.
I think this is the kind of thing that it's like if this was Salem, she would be stoned. She would be stoned to death for saying some crap like that. And I guess now we are figuratively stoning her to death.
Loca! Mine's loca.
Thank you, baby.
Don't ever come at me with anything that crazy again, Brianna.
I'm sorry. If you made it this far, congratulations, you're a f***ing pervert. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope you found this informative as well as entertaining. I had fun recording this video. So please like and subscribe for more content, and we will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Onyx, would you like to say goodbye to the people today? Oh, you're so cute. You're so handsome. Sit. Good boy, Onyx. Can you say like and subscribe? Oh, thank you. He's so sweet. He's such a sweet old man. You look at his face. Look at his face. Subscribe because of this face. Onyx.